I'm David Marsh. Welcome to Exploring the Human Journey.
Exploring the Human Journey.
Hi and welcome. I am so glad you joined us. I have the one and only Astarius Miraculii in the house. He is a master astrologer, he's a sound healer, a master didgeridoo player, he's a musician and an author, and I can't wait for you to meet him. Recently I spent some time with Astarius, and I'd like you to watch this video.
So I remember, here I was, it was January 23rd, 1973. So it's been a while now. I've been walking my spiritual path for 45 years. My rent was due. It was only 80 bucks. I had a little one-room, space. It was $80 a month. I didn't even have that. I had $30 to my name, but I had this astrological chart done. And the chart kept saying I would benefit from an investigation of metaphysics and the occult. There was an occult bookstore on the north side of Chicago. So I said, well, I don't have my rent, but I got 30 bucks. I'm going down to that store and buy me some books. I went down there and I spent $25 on books, and I kept 5 for myself. And I came back home and I started reading about 3 in the afternoon and read from 3 in the afternoon till 5 o'clock the next morning, stopping only to have a little bite to eat and to do this thing that these books were talking about called meditation, which I instantly knew how to do. It was not like discovering something for the first time. It was like remembering something that I've always known. I was at a drum circle, and didgeridoo players were there, and so it was drums and didgeridoos. And then all of a sudden somebody said, okay, all the drums be quiet, and just didgeridoos. And so 6 didgeridoos were going off at one time. So that was my first experience of a live didgeridoo. I think God wanted me to really get the message. I played the didgeridoo for about 1 year when I had this mystical experience. And Spirit called my name from the inside, says, Astarius. Now, it's not always that clear with Spirit, but this is one of those 2x4 over the head moments of clarity. And Spirit says, you're from the clan of the trumpet angels. And a light went off in every cell of my being. And I had this instantaneous understanding of why I'd had such a profound experience with the didgeridoo at that time, playing for just a year. So all of the things that I do with sacred sound is by virtue of my clan. A clan of angels who are the keepers of all the sacred sounds. They taught me that didgeridoo is not that tube that the sound comes through. Didgeridoo is the sound itself that's coming through, and that instrument is its body. Then I decided, okay, I want to do vocal harmonics as masterfully as I play the didgeridoo. That's producing simultaneous highs and lows with one voice. The highs represent heaven and the lows represent earth, so it's then creating a marriage of heaven and earth in the cells of the body. Sound is so powerful in that it has a foot in the realm of spirit. You can't grab a handful of it and say, I got a handful of this sound. And it also has a foot in the physical realm because you can hear it with a physical ear. It's carrier waves of consciousness that trigger a remembering of that which we've forgotten about, the absoluteness of our selfhood.
Astarius, that is awesome, dude. You are the conscious king, man. You are the guy that is making it happen. Tell me about this whole thing that you're working on.
Okay. Well, I received that, that you just shared.
It's good.
And I am, that all that you just shared based upon the fact that I walk in the reality of who I am as the all-inclusiveness of the whole universe, portaling through this individual self, Astarius Miraculii. I recognize myself as the universe. I recognize you as the universe. Nobody can do the universe exactly like you or exactly like
Yep.
me.
I love it.
And so, this journey started more than 40 years ago for me.
Yep.
And it's been just this amazing adventure, of awakening myself and also being the catalyst for other people awakening.
Yeah. I love how you gave presents to you. You were kind of a kid running around on the streets. You didn't really know what you were going to do. What I didn't have time to give presents was you met a young lady,
Yes.
the Mellow Mama.
Mellow Mama.
You met Mellow Mama. She
Yeah.
changed your heart. You had
Okay.
a 9-month, and you go just enough for gestation.
Okay. How about if I shared a poem with you?
Oh, you guys are going to love this.
Once upon a time, I was very, very selfish. Foolishly selfish with the gift of love. Then one day I met a little mellow mama who came to claim my love. She gave me all the love for which most people yearn, and I tried not to give love in return.
Oh.
Then one day it seemed that she was going away. I don't mean just somewhere here on earth, but away for a permanent stay. And on that day, how to give love, I did learn, for the continuation of her presence, my heart did ceaselessly burn. On that day, I did realize Mellow Mama meant the world to me, and to think she had to almost leave here just for me to see. Through all of our relations, experiences, and endeavors, I was taught the lessons of love through pain, joy, and pleasure. And now I have learned how to truly love, and I did not know at first, for now not only do I love this little mellow mama, but I also love the whole universe. Thank you, Mellow Mama, for showing me the way to universal love, a love so deep, a love so high, a love from within and above, a love so powerful, a love so true, a love I learned through mellow you. So this is how the universe was slowing me down.
Yeah.
Because I was a dishonest student in the University of Life's other side of the fence.
Yeah, you were running
in
the
the
roads.
treacherous ghettos of Chicago.
Yes.
And God took care of me. But you see, I had to, I needed to come to universal love. I needed to reach this place where I could love the all that is, which is also my own self, by macrocosmic extension. And of course, I didn't understand that at that time.
You just think this is all there is. I'm just me in this little ego body. Then you start
separation.
To learn.
Getting over on people.
Yeah.
But you can't get over on anybody but your own self.
Yeah.
That which you do unto another, you do unto your own self.
But you don't know that when you're beginning consciousness.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Mellow Mama
do
comes
unto others
in.
Before they do to you. Is that right? Is that a street code? Yeah.
So Mellow Mama comes in. I fall in love with Mellow Mama. I am pissed off with myself because I don't want to feel that way.
Nope.
I feel like, my emotions are going to be overrunning my logic and that type of thing. But basically, it was the Creator's plan to slow me down enough by way of human love so that my heart could begin to be made ready for a universal love. And the relationship with Mellow Mama lasted for just 9 months, a period of gestation. And then it was done, and I just catapulted onto my path.
Yeah. And then I love how you give presents too. You're like, well, the rent's due. I don't have rent, but I do have enough money to go buy some books. I'm like, what? After you bought the books, what happened? Did you get kicked out? Did you ever make rent?
Well, no, I came home. Well, first of all, I came home and read from 3 in the afternoon until 5 the next morning, and my whole life changed.
Yeah.
And I understood all of the things that I was reading in the book. And then eventually, money began to flow. And I didn't get kicked out.
Oh, good.
I was able to pay my rent. And it was just an amazing experience for me. It was also an experience of being a hermit. Every day for a long time, it was just getting up, reading, meditating, doing affirmations, doing prayers, from the time I awakened to the time I went to bed. And it was just this amazing journey of awakening for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anybody that was doing those kind of, because I came in through books. I didn't know there was such thing as a Unity Church or a Science of Mind Church that teaches these principles.
Good Ernest Holmes material. I love it.
Precisely. Precisely. And, then came to find out there was this Unity Church. Reverend Johnny Coleman, who was a very famous, she's passed on now, but a Unity minister, had the biggest metaphysical church in Chicago, and came to find out, it was literally like what? maybe a 10-minute drive from my house.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
it was close.
Yeah, it was very close.
And so you were able to find community then there.
Yeah, a lot of community, a lot of people that were working with the same principles, and and then it became more of a nurturing experience of being able to share with people that were of the consciousness that I'd come into. Because prior to that, the only people I had to share with was these women that would come and visit me, and their men were treating them horribly. And I would hold their hands and do this breathing technique and transmit energy to them, and that kind of thing. And sometimes they would sit and listen to the principles I had to share. So that was my only communion, and I had, after I, did all that reading that night and came onto the path, I became a celibate also.
What?
Oh my God.
That's crazy
The
talk.
minute they found out I was a celibate, it was after my sacred behind, I tell you. And I was serious to my celibacy, But, it's like, if you want, you don't tell a woman that, when they say, oh, there's no men celibates, no such thing.
Wow.
And, whenever you position yourself as something that is not available, you want it all that much more,
They're looking for somebody to help them.
Yeah, so it was
their
an interesting journey in
Yeah.
that respect, but I honored my celibacy, and it was beautiful to be able to share these spiritual principles that I was coming into, because they were the only people I had to share them with.
Yeah, so you don't want to lose your chi. You wanted to keep it, or what was the reason for your celibacy?
In terms of, all these different books were talking about celibacy, and I think I just needed to have that experience, because I'd always been a person with a lot of sexual juice, and I think it was just important for me to experience a vacation.
So it was like a pendulum swing. From one extreme to the other then. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still in that paradigm?
Oh, the celibacy? Oh, no.
This guy is available. What's up?
Well, I got sacred use for the juice.
Yeah.
And also the other thing.
This is that was amazing.
Is that I see sexuality in a different way than many people see it. The same energy that makes babies and brings erotic pleasure is the same energy that gives vitality to the body, heals the body, and creates everything. So it's really better to have the hots than not, because that means then you have access to creation force.
I love, you guys go on YouTube right now, pause this, go on YouTube, go on Astarius Miraculii's YouTube channel, watch the Sacred Sexuality video. Blew my mind. Amazing. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And continue.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think celibacy is a wonderful thing if that's the path that one chooses. The wisdom, however, is in, let's say hypothetically, when and if I choose a path of celibacy, that I recognize that that is an applicable and appropriate path for me, though not necessarily for everyone else. And I think that's where many people get snared and trapped, is that they'll choose a path and feel like everybody else should choose in like measure.
This is the right way.
Yeah. And it doesn't work that way, because it's different ways for different days, a living blend of changing trends. Once upon a time, you're in the yester reality, I was into celibacy, and now, I dance with sacred sexuality. And with regards to sacred sexuality, the lesson is, first and foremost, how are you in relationship with the force of sexuality in your own body, independent of what you're doing with it with other people. First, it has to be a healthy relationship with you and that energy. So that means even when I'm not in relationship, I still welcome that energy into my body. I welcome desire into my body. And when you're in the healthiest relationship with sexual energy, then intense sexual desire with no outlet to be with another person physically becomes its own form of fulfillment, because it reminds you of your access to creation force.
Ooh, that's good. Give presence to that universal cosmic explosion of love and creativity. I've heard people talk about a Sophia energy that created the universe, and it's an explosion of sexuality, of creation. Kind of give presence to that.
Well, if we were to look at the creation story, so in the creation story, or one facet of it, it says, so God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, said, let there be light, and there was light. And in the whole creation story, what you hear is God said, let there be. And then you hear this answer that says, and there was. So what is that? Well, first of all, the Spirit of God moving upon the face of the waters, I feel, was the Father God moving upon the body of the mother.
Oh.
And the Father God said, let there be light.
Yeah.
And the Mother God said, and there was light. Now, as above, so below. Man releases his seed into a woman, and he says, let there be a baby. After the cycle of 9 months, when the water breaks, Mama says, and there was a baby.
Yeah.
So even man moves upon the face of the waters.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the waters are also symbolic of the very beingness of femininity, of the mother. You know, anytime we create anything, we have to first and foremost move upon the face of the waters, meaning that we then engage our emotional body, because the fuel of our thoughts is the emotionality that propel them. The lifespan of a thought is determined by how much emotional energy that thought is released with.
Energy, emotion.
Energy in motion.
Emotion,
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. And so, you know, we see that, you know, and I feel that it was Father and Mother God coming into sacred copulation and then giving birth to the universe by virtue of the cosmogasm.
The cosmogasm. I love it. Dude, I was raised in this fear-based construct that said sexuality was wrong, it was bad, and it was taboo, and there was so much shame put upon it. And as we grow in consciousness, we realize that's part of the human experience. It's part of the universal experience. It's life, it's creativity. And you know, even comes in the chakra system as the foundation of who we are energetically.
Well, how could it not be, in that we've all earned our incarnation by virtue of the copulation of our parents? So an energy that is the very impetus and means by which we are able to come into embodiment, how could that not be a wonderful energy? How could that not be a benevolent energy? It's the twisted definition of human beings that is placed upon sexuality, you know, which is incidentally a form of abuse. To have negative feelings towards sexuality is to engage in sexual abuse.
Yes.
Because we have an abusive attitude toward a benevolent energy.
Yes. You talk about telling children that sex is wrong and their bodies are wrong, how it's a form of child abuse.
It's sexual abuse. Just like, little boys, you know, this crazy thing that little boys were told, if you touch yourself, you'll go blind. I don't know if you ever heard that one, but that's a crazy one. You know, to say such a thing.
When you're in junior high and your buddy has to get glasses, we're like, ha, 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 we know what you're doing.
And so, you know, and then also when a parent finds their little child self-pleasuring and then they spank them or shame them, and they're just having an experience of self-discovery. You know, and it's innocent. That's why, I mean, because the child is the epitome of innocence. That's why they can do that without a second thought until there is this projecting of negativity onto them by the adults.
That is so good. How does a well-rounded person look at relationship, look at sexuality, look at monogamy, look at marriage relationship, look at open? How do you frame that in consciousness? Because I'm looking at paradigms of anything that has fear, and I want to get rid of the fear. So how do you place the sexuality in relationship with another?
Well, you know, it's a matter of what the choice is between the two people who are in relationship. If their choice is monogamy, you know, then that's the integrity of that relationship, and it's appropriate that the two people honor that monogamy. But at the same time, wisdom for both of them would be in understanding that that is not exclusive to every other being. You know, that another being may choose polygamy, and being able to see that that polygamous choice is appropriate for them. So wisdom is being able to see the goodness that exists within all the choices. Because if you choose what you choose from a place of integrity, you know, so for example, if a person chooses, you know, an open relationship, or they choose polygamy, and it's done in a very open way, you know, not, you know, slipping in the darkness and pretending that you're monogamous, but very open and by agreement, and with a sense of honor. And also, if a person's going to be in an open relationship, then it's important that they be solid enough that they're not getting snared in jealousy and that kind of thing. So it's not enough to be willing to be open to your partner connecting to someone else. Are you able to still maintain your center while that's taking place? That then becomes the integrity of that connection. In the monogamy, it's important, that a person is giving from fullness of heart. If you're in monogamy, then it needs to be 100% commitment. And if you're like in monogamy, but feeling so many attractions that are gnawing at you outside of the relationship, then you got something to examine there. So there's so many different variables, and everything has the capacity to be sacred if there is an expression of integrity, and also as long as it's not something that is harming another individual.
Oh, that's so good. In the progress of the soul journey that we're having, give presence to the fact that this is the Leela, the divine game, being shielded by the Maya, the illusion. Give some presence to what the divinity is within us, what that whole process, what you think this whole thing's about.
Well, we are that part of God, Goddess Absolute, of divinity.
God, Goddess Absolute. I love it when you say that, dude.
That chose to come into physicality. Now, prior to this physical journey, we knew in our celestial awareness that we were probably going to engage in forgetfulness. We knew that. We knew that as we came into the density of flesh, that the likelihood was very strong that we were going to forget who we are and the absoluteness of our being. So it is said by the psychologists that the average person is using 5 or 10% of the mind and brain capacity. Well, that other 90 to 95% is God mind. And you access that through your alignment with the divinity of your being. So in our infinite wisdom, we left this greater expanse of who we are, standing in the circle of eternity, remembering for us what we were probably going to forget when we entered into the experience of physicality and sometimes the nightmare of the earth dream. So we got this greater resonance of who we are, the angels, God, Goddess Absolute, that doesn't join us in the physicality and the forgetfulness of it. But when we wake up and remember, then that greater expanse that we are joins us in the expansion. And so the expansion of the universe is quickened by virtue of our spiritually awakening. See, and when we awaken, like let's say when we're knocked down in our forgetfulness and it hurts really badly. And then we get up stronger than we were before we went down, and we get up stronger not in spite of being knocked down. We get up stronger because of being knocked down.
So you're taking your pain, you're transmuting it into your power.
It's the alchemy. Where we transform pain into bliss. We transform poison into potion. We transform base metals into gold, darkness into light. That's the sacred alchemy. And each one of us in our physical experience are the alchemists, the magician. When we look at the journey of the tarot, for example, so these key 0 in the tarot is the fool, which represents us who takes the journey. And when we look at that card, what does the fool do? We see him stepping off of the precipice. So what the fool is doing is stepping down into manifestation, into physicality. So the first step then is what? Key 1, the magician. Now, when you want to crack the code of the tarot, there's out of those 22 major arcana, those cards, we look at 4. We look at the fool who takes the journey. We look at the magician, who's the first step in the journey. The midpoint of the journey is justice, Justice, but real justice is Justis. See, not just ice, but just is. Okay, and then the final key in the journey is the world. So in cracking the code of the tarot, in those 4 cards, and we turn them into a sentence, what we get is the fool, magician, just is the world.
Oh my God. How do you blow my brains like that? It's amazing. Dude.
And that was a revelation that God shared with me, because I read the tarot, but then it was given the blessing to know that prior to the tarot being a tool for divination, it was a tool that represented the human journey from the celestial heights down through physicality and then back into the celestial heights, because the 21st key is the world, which in some decks is called the universe. You see? So the fool steps down, becomes the magician, the alchemist, you know, the shaman. You know, what is shaman? God in a body. Everybody's that. Everybody's not in the conscious awareness of it, but everybody is that.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, when you get to the midpoint and you let go of the just ice, which is where the judgment is, and you come into the just is, everything just is. It's not good or bad. It just is.
Let that juice marinate. Wow. So I was given that narrative in a fear-based construct that tarot cards were of the devil. And so I was always shunning it and afraid of it. But now I'm realizing it's a tool for consciousness. It's a tool for revelation. And how much sillier does it feel to be stuck in a tiny box when the universe is accessible to us?
What's denominationalism? What is it to be fanatically denominational? The numb in nation all. To be numb in a nation of allness. To be zoned, And it's like, or, you know, when you're locked in your tradition, you know, when you're locked in traditionalism, trade, I, shun, all. You see? What? You see? And because it's not a nation of numbness, it's a spiritual nation, or a spirit, you all nation.
Wow, you're a wordsmith,
just like man. Jesus. What is Jesus? He's us. Oh!
That's like your superpower, wordsmithing.
Yeah, precisely. You know?
You're so good. So you do sound healing in addition. So now vibration and frequency. When you're looking at a religious text that said, in the beginning God spoke and said, let there be. He's speaking, creating vibration.
Or in the beginning was the Word, the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and that word frequency is sound. And the beautiful thing about sound is it has a foot in both dimensions simultaneously. It has a foot in the spiritual dimension, a foot in the physical dimension.
I love that, because you can't grab sound.
No, you can't grab a handful of sound. What? You say, I got a handful of this sound. So it's always of spirit, and yet it is of the physical. You can hear it, you know, with the physical ear.
So it's physical in that you can hear it, but you can't touch it.
So it's a liaison. It is our sacred escort back into the realms of our absoluteness. You know, sound is the primordial first cause. You know, just like when I bring forth sounds with vocal harmonics, when I go, you know, the highs and lows represent the heaven, high, low, earth, you know, creating that marriage of heaven and earth within the cells of our being, calling us home to our absoluteness. Because when we're working with the frequency of sound, they're carrier waves of consciousness. You know, like that very sound that I just produced. If it's, whether it's a low or it's, so that's my elder. It's your elder. Because there is a level of consciousness within these sound frequencies that represents things that we've forgotten about who we are. Oh, man. And they become our sacred wake-up call. To bring us back home.
How do you incorporate your sound healing with the didgeridoo and then your voice? What is the reasoning or the purpose behind the different vibrations with the didgeridoo and the voice?
Well, with the didgeridoo, you know, when the didgeridoo is played appropriately, it's played with circular breathing, meaning that there's no gaps in the sound. With most wind instrument players, when they take a breath, the sound stops. You hear that little pause in the sound when they take a breath. With the didgeridoo, I take a breath and there's still a stream of air being blown out through the squeezing of the cheeks. So that's storing of air within the cheeks that's squeezed out like bellows, and so the sound is continuous.
So there's technique there,
And the uninterrupted sound is a reflection of the endless nature of eternity.
Oh, dude, it's a spiral of circles.
So it's waking up that eternal connection and calling you home to your absoluteness. And the keepers of the didgeridoo, as well as all of the sacred sounds, is the clan of the trumpet angels. That's my clan. That's who's taught me
That's your peeps.
what to do, what I do with the frequencies of sound. And I was 1 year into playing the didgeridoo at a friend's house who's a beekeeper, with my beloved by the beehive, standing behind her, playing the didgeridoo into her back. Spirit calls my name from the inside, says, Astarius. I answer, I said, yes. Spirit says, you're from the clan of the trumpet angels.
Wow.
A light went off in every cell of my being, and it was like such a powerful realization of why this instrument was so powerful for me. When I finally stopped playing on her before I can tell her what I'd gotten, she looks at me and she says, oh my God, I just seen the biggest angel Deva I've ever seen.
Wow.
God gives me the message in two different ways. Let me clairaudiently hear. I'm from the clan of the trumpet angels. Clairvoyantly showed her the angel. So they taught me they're the keepers of the didgeridoo, the keepers of all of the sacred sounds. See, before there was an earth, before there was a physicality, that there was even a need to have an instrument like this to play, it's a celestial reality of sound in the higher realms. So they're the keepers of all the sound, that which is produced with the guitar or the harp or the flute. See, and so this is not didgeridoo. Didgeridoo is a sound coming through it.
I love when you say that.
You see, the piano, that thing with the keys, that's not piano. Piano is a sound current emanating from it, and that thing with the keys, that's its body. That's how sound achieves incarnation through instrumentation that we then produce these sounds with in the physical domain. But there was a time before physicality where all of these sounds still exist in the celestial realm. And the clan of the trumpet angels are the keepers of all of that. And that's my clan, and that's why I'm outrageous with the frequency of sound.
No, it's good. You do live performance, and then you do healing with it. And then I had the physical feeling of, as the didgeridoo was, I could feel the vibration of the sound and just the energy coming off of it. It was very powerful. How do you incorporate that as far as healing? Is it a chakra? Is it a shamanic
Well, I play directly into the auric field, directly onto the chakras. When a person is experiencing that, they feel themselves as an extension of that vibration. So literally a person is feeling themselves as not just physical presence, but as vibration. So vibration meets physicality, which then means that the physical being begins to be accelerated in vibration, which is one of the reasons why after the session a person feels light and floaty, because they feel this connection to spirit. And there has been this acceleration of vibration, within them, that is brought forth through the didgeridoo. And for me, because when I play that instrument, first thing I say is this healing is given to you and me and every being and all existence included in helping in the healing. So every single healing is all inclusive of the whole universe, even under God, Goddess Absolute. So whenever you have an intention that is all encompassing in that way, then all of the beingness that exists in the oneness of the wholeness has got you back on that intention. So you're backed by the universe.
So you're healing one small piece of the whole.
Yes, but that which is done unto the drop is done unto the ocean.
Because the ocean and the drop are the same thing.
One and the same. So if you're going to resent the drop, well, by extension, you're resenting the ocean. That's why we can't afford to resent any being. If you resent another being, you resent God, Goddess Absolute, you resent your own self, because you can't separate being from being as you can't separate life from life. Everything is one. It's the oneness of the wholeness. Like we are a oneness of wholeness of being. For example, there are multitudinous cells within your being, one for every being in the whole of existence. You have a cell within you for every man, woman, and child, for every angel and ascended master, for every ocean, mountain, and stream, every mineral, plant, and animal, every elemental, star, and galaxy, because you are the master soul who is the microcosmic container of the macrocosmic all that is. You are a soul in the body of the universe, and the universe is a cell in the body of your soul.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I can't believe it.
So that's why you want to walk in the all-inclusiveness of who you are. Because the universe that you are does not doubt. The universe that you are is infinitely confident that you can make it all happen.
Yes.
The universe that you are knows the importance of loving every being, because the universe that you are knows that in loving out there, it is simply loving your own self by extension.
Yes. Oh.
That's why I love all beings.
Yeah.
It's me by extension.
Yep. Yep. Better to be in community and in cooperation than in competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why, when people like are performances, and one person goes up and does a spectacular performance, and the next being getting ready to go up, they say, oh my God, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
That's separation. Yeah. But what a wonderful act to join.
Yeah.
See, don't see it as a hard act to follow,
yes.
but a wonderful act to join. So they did this amazing performance, laid the foundation. Now you're going to build upon that foundation.
Yeah.
You see, so oneness of wholeness. See, oneness of wholeness of being. See, oneness of wholeness of interviews.
Yes.
This interview is meant to reach out and empower every other interview that is, was, or ever will be, and in turn be empowered by every interview that is, was, or ever will be. This is the oneness of the wholeness of the interview.
Boom. Wow.
We have the oneness of the wholeness of the love, the oneness of the wholeness of the brothers, of the sisters, the goddesses, the gods.
Yeah.
Ad infinitum.
So good. So good. All right, dude, you've got this book here. In this book, it's an amazing book. It's called Miraculii, Song of Ascension. And you've got some text that has like information, like you've given anecdotes, and then you've got some lyrical content, things that are like
three basic chapters: Ascension wisdom, Ascension love, and Ascension power.
Yes.
And the wisdom, goes into the basic principles of ascension. See, because we all are ascended beings. Like people say, oh, I would love to achieve my ascension. Well, see, the reality is there's no such thing as an unascended being, though there's a great deal of unascended awareness.
Yep.
So we walk around being ascended reality of being without being aware that we are. Because if one being or any facet of being is ascended, they are that in honor of and in connection with every other being.
Yep.
Just like you co-walked on water with the Master Christ. You co-parted the Red Sea with Moses. You co-received enlightenment under the Bodhi tree with the Buddha. Every accomplishment in life is your accomplishment by extension. That's the oneness of the wholeness of accomplishments.
Yeah, that's great. Now, one thing about astrology that I've learned, again, having given a narrative of something negative, as you begin to embrace and understand consciousness, you realize that astrology gives you kind of a map, kind of a understanding of the circumstances you're
probabilities of circumstances, probabilities of character.
Yep. And I guess the first thing that was most important to me was that I chose to come here. I chose when I would be born. I chose the time and the birthplace, which are very important. So for the explorers that watch this that don't really know much about astrology, give some setting about the usefulness of that practice.
Well, astrology, is, a means by which we study and see the map of the cause and effect of a person's life. We stand on the threshold of this lifetime and we choose our parents. We choose the moment of our birth based upon the alignment of the stars that then show a map in the heaven that represents the probable unfoldings of our life. You see, but probabilities can always be transcended because the astrology is a reflection of the cause and effect of our life, where the grace and mercy of God is a law above and beyond the cause and effect. You see, so every negative implication in astrology is a candidate for cancellation, before continuation.
Oh, wow. So it's not necessarily written in stone, but it's the probability.
You can always change it. You can always change it. And then some things are changed sooner than others. Some things are changed slowly but surely, and others fastly before lastly. It just depends upon the individual and how fast they want to grow and accelerate. And sometimes we go through a period where we're still being served by our pain and difficulty. This is why many people were in the presence of the Master Christ, but didn't get healed, and they needed healing, and they were up close and personal with the Master, but they weren't ready to let go of their stuff.
Oh, boy.
I don't care how powerful you are as a healer.
Yep.
If you're dealing with somebody that's not ready to let go of their stuff, you cannot effect healing for them
Yep.
because you cannot supersede their free will.
Yep. Oh, that's good too.
You see?
So with the astrology modality, you said that was your oldest modality.
Yes.
The thing that you've done. You started learning that we're here for purpose and there's probabilities in our life, but there's some sort of a plan that we have instituted ourselves for something. And after I learned about astrology, I then love my birthday now. I was born in December of 1969. So whatever year it is, I always know, oh, if it's 2018, I'm 48 years old. And so for a simple caveman that doesn't like math, I mean, that alone, I'm like, that's definitely something I would have done. And I like the fact that the age in which I am gives me the ability to have decades and look at my personal growth and then my spiritual growth. And I think that I probably had some sort of a thing where I was like, ooh, I'm going to be raised in this tradition for a while. And then at some point, I'm going to play hide and seek and go, okay, now I'm going to seek because I've been hiding.
Right.
And I love that. So people that were born, I mean, I know so many people that go, hey, I didn't choose to be here. My parents had a thing one night and next thing you know, I come here. I didn't.
We're always choosing.
They walk around angry. They're like,
because it says what? That which a man sows, he also shall reap.
Sure.
So we're always sowing, and we're sowing our future and reaping our past.
But to the person that says, I didn't choose to come here, what do you say to them?
Well, they're not wanting to take responsibility. And the unfortunate thing about one who says they didn't choose to come here or they didn't choose to experience these difficult things that happened to them, that they're standing in the mantle of the victim.
Yeah.
So if they feel that things outside of themselves can choose the course of their life, they have to creek without a paddle because they feel like things outside of themselves can choose what their flow is going to be.
Yep. So
but God said we have free will, so we're choosing. So when you look at the astrology, for example, the sun is going to tell us about a person's godhood.
Ooh.
So how is God expressing within your being? That's what the sun tells us.
Sun sign. Okay.
The sun sign.
So when people say, what's your sign? That's the sun sign.
Right, sun sign. So if we want to know, well, what is your lessons around emotionality? We look at the moon. Your lessons around emotionality, your lessons around your home situation. If you're a woman, the moon is going to tell us how you carry your womanhood. Mm-hmm. If you're a man, the moon is going to tell us the type of female energy that you gravitate to. It certainly is the energy of the mother as well. If we want to learn how is the person going to use their mind, we look at Mercury. It tells us about how they use their mind, how they engage in articulation, whether or not there's challenges in that relative to how the planets are interconnecting with each other. We want to see how one approaches the love experience or relationship. We look at Venus, one's pattern of desires. We look at Mars. Mars also tells us about one's sexuality. We want to learn about a person's philosophy in life. We look at Jupiter. We want to learn about a person's sacred labor, their duty, their work. We look at Saturn.
Oh.
And then, what sign all of these planets are in, and then what is the relationship that these planets are having with each other? What kind of conversations are they having with each other? Are they able to communicate with each other harmoniously, or do they communicate with each other argumentatively?
Yeah.
You see, and so that's what the astrology then shows us. So when I'm doing a reading for someone, and let's say I see a spot that represents some would-be difficulties, I will outline that and I'll point that out. And then, okay, what do we do here to help you transcend this? Like, for example, when a planet is stressful in some way, like let's say my Saturn is a bit stressful, I might inhale benevolent Saturn, and then I exhale sacred Astarius. Inhale benevolent Saturn, exhale sacred Astarius. And so what I'm doing, even though Saturn is offering stressful energy by potential in my chart, I'm extracting from Saturn the goodness. I'm milking the light out of Saturn.
Oh, wow.
You see, like milking the blessing out of the shadow.
Yeah.
See, because you can do that because any planet is simply an extension of one's own self. And so when we see a planet that is operating difficultly, okay, that represents a facet of my being that is a bit stressful? How do I bring this part of me into harmonic convergence with harmony,
Oh, it's good.
with peace, with benevolence, with that which is going to be servant unto me?
Yeah.
See, everything is meant to be servant unto us. We are, little expressions of God, and God is absolute.
Yes.
Microcosmic deities we are.
So for the people that want to have a more developed understanding of who they are and what their astrology chart is, how do they contact you via your website?
Well, they can contact me via my website,
Yeah.
which is astarius.com,
Yeah.
astarius.com. They can reach out via my personal line, which is 928-254-9535. And then we start from there. There's also a ton of information on my website, which is different sessions that they can choose, because, I can do an exclusive reading, which is always going to be a psychic astrology reading involving the tarot, astrology, and then what I intuitively get, a little bit of numerology, and then some people choose the creme de la creme of my offering. And that's when I do a reading healing combination, which is really powerful, because we do the reading first and whatever the issues or blockages are right on the surface. And we go from there into healing transmissions, which then begin to clear those blockages.
Oh, dude, that is awesome. So I haven't done mine yet. I definitely want to schedule that with you.
I'm looking forward.
Because that is so important to have some understanding of the things that are within you that motivate you. I've had some light experiences, with astrology, even understanding that the Sagittarius sign is a fire sign. Oh, that must be why I have a drive and motivation and things like that. And then understanding about consciousness and being aware of spiritual things. I'm like, wow. So the light things I've heard from astrology for myself, it was like, yeah, it's so accurate. It's so thorough in the understanding of who we are as a being.
Right. And also even, relative to you as a Sagittarius. So over and above there being 12 signs, there's 6 pairs of signs that come together to reveal one another to each other. So the opposite side of your nature is Gemini. You have the sun in Sagittarius, which means you have the earth in Gemini.
Wow.
So there's Gemini is like a grounding point for you. So for example, the negatives within Sagittarius are canceled out by the positives within Gemini. Okay. So, one of the things about Sagittarius is, this great expansive energy that's into everything. But when you need to come into specialization, you draw upon the energies of Gemini, who knows the compartmentalization. But when Gemini becomes overly scattered, with too many irons in the fire, being jack of all trades, baffled by none, lesson to learn, at least master one, then the Gemini is going to learn how to come into that mastery through drawing on the energies of Sagittarius, who has this mastery of specialization.
Wow.
So, on and on and on, they go back and forth, in that way. Or another thing I wanted to mention is that when I do a reading for a person, like when we get a chance to do your reading, one of the things that I step into is the interconnectedness with your higher self. So oftentimes the information that I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing it with you from the perspective of your higher self.
Yeah.
That I channel you. That dimension of you that knows that you can infinitely accomplish any and everything that you want to accomplish. And I've been blessed to be able to really transmit that frequency to you, where you experientially will begin to feel the dimensions of your higher reality of self. And what that does for me is it keeps me from giving, undue attention to the limitation. So you're not your limitation. That's an anomaly along the course of life. You are the absoluteness of your being. So I don't give presence to your limitation. I give presence to the absoluteness that you are, that when you're standing in that reality, you automatically transcend any limitations.
That is awesome.
Because see, the all-inclusiveness of your being the expansiveness of who you are is co-eternal with God.
Yep.
Your fears, your worries, your doubts, all those things are of time and space where everything has an expiration date.
Yes. Yes.
You see? And any negativity, whether it originates in another person or in you, it's not yours.
Mhm.
And so my motto is, if it ain't divine, it ain't mine.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So it doesn't matter where, because some people say, well, is this my negativity or is this your? Well, if it's negativity, it's not yours. If it ain't divine, it ain't mine.
It ain't mine. Yeah. So if someone's in a different city, a different country, and they can reach out, can you still do work with them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I work with people from all over the world and different places in the country.
Do you do
by
Skype sessions?
Yeah, Skype sessions. So we have a
good.
visual connection, and I
Yeah.
love that. I love working with people in that way, and also even in transmitting healing energies. When we authentically work with healing energies, then it transmits as rapidly as the speed of thought.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be 3,000 miles away,
Yep.
and a transmission happens, and it instantly registers, within them.
Time and space are unnecessary.
Yeah. But the key is, when I do this work, I must be in the all-inclusiveness of who I am as the universe wielding the forces through the individual being, Astarius Miraculii.
Yep.
So many healers get tripped up, and even those that get drained when they do the work, it's because they feel that the energy is coming from them individually, rather than coming from the all-inclusiveness of who they are as the whole of the universe, even the God, Goddess Absolute, portaling through them as they do the work.
Like you're the conduit of. Yeah.
So, and yes, you are the conduit, and you're also the absoluteness coming through the conduit. Because some people will say, well, no, it's not me, but God. But who are you but a facet of God?
It's part of the same. Yeah.
So it's all the same.
Yeah.
We just want to honor that we have this little individualized self, and your body and your soul is the meeting place for the universe that you are. It's the means by which the universe can have a meeting with itself in just exactly the way that it can only do through you.
Oh, so good. You make me want to just be awesome.
Because you are awesome.
I love it. I love it.
You are that.
So crystals are really important. I loved your home space. I loved your Ascension temple, as you had called it.
Yeah, the 12th incarnation that was.
I love that. It's not my house. It's my incarnation of my 12th Ascension temple. Oh, I love that. And when we did your feature video, Sweet Lady Gail laid down on the Reiki table that you had there, and you pointed out underneath you have stones, because stones are really important to your work, and it's part of the energy work you do. And then you also shared with us the things you have here. So give presence to the energy that you do.
Well, crystals, are an access code to our divine sonship. Crystal, Christ, all. Christ, all. You see, and when we use the terminology Christ, we're not coming from the denominationalism of Christianity. We're talking about mystic Christianity, which is Christ, I amity.
Yeah.
You see. So
you're awesome.
The crystal, is the way it's a step down transformer. It is also one of those vibrations, that the crystal here, like, for example, this is a crystal. And then, we have leather and suede. The leather and suede are brother and sister in the flesh kingdom, you see, and it symbolizes the physical body.
Yep.
The crystal symbolizes the essence of spirit, you see. And so, for example, if you lay down on your back and you put a quartz crystal on your first eye, what you'd feel in that crystal is you would feel your pulse in your heart.
Oh, wow.
It would begin to pulse, and you could feel literally your heartbeat and your pulse in the crystal. So, there is a certain part of our physiology that is crystalline. So this is an extension of our own being. And again, a means by which we can make a connection to that Christ consciousness within us. When, like I said, he's us. Okay. And I remember many, many years ago, I was at a church and the choir was singing. They were singing about Jesus. And then all of a sudden I heard, he's us.
Oh, so good.
Or just us.
Just
Either
us.
way you look at it. And so we recognize that this Christ principle is simply the individualization of Godhood expressed within our physicality, within our soul, that enables us to begin to in soul, the resonance of our own godhood.
Yeah.
We all are the only begotten Son, or the onely begotten Son, begotten in the resonance of oneness.
Yep.
See, that's what it is to be the only begotten of God, to be begotten in a state of oneness. The oneness of the wholeness.
Yep.
Because we are the universe.
Yeah. So when you're doing your energy work, do you have a Reiki practice that is energetically moving for people? How does that
I
work?
incorporate my Reiki into, what I do. When I, for example, even when I'm playing the didgeridoo, the Reiki frequency is always coming through me as a Reiki master teacher. Sometimes I might literally hold symbols in consciousness while I'm playing the didgeridoo. And when I do Reiki, where I'm specifically laying hands on the body, then I bring in a tone like, so the sound then is coming out of my hands as well as out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You see, and so there's a transmission of the frequency of Reiki, and Reiki means universal life energy, meaning that there's no spot where that energy is not.
Yeah.
So the root essence of Reiki is simply every time is now, every space is here, everyone is me.
Oh, that's so good.
So so Reiki is a resonance that connects us with the omnipresence. You see, and so there's three basic qualities of godhood, of our creator: omnipresence, evenly present everywhere; omniscient, all-knowing; and omnipotent, all-powerful.
Yes.
And because we are God by microcosmic extension, then so it is that we have the capacity for omnipotence, all-powerfulness; omniscience, all-knowingness; and omnipresence, evenly present everywhere, because your presence is the meeting place for the omnipresence that you really are.
So with these crystal devices, these energy wands, how do you say it?
Well, Ascension wands.
Ascension
the
wands.
main frequency is Ascension and the principle of love. I use the principle of electronics. So in electronics, this, which is copper and galvanized steel, that would be what is called the main coil in electronics. Underneath the dressings is a network of wire wraps connecting the crystal tube, the copper tube rather, and the number of turns of wire is an indication of how many times the power of this is amplified. In electronics, that would be called the secondary coil.
Okay.
You see, so I use, spirit and science in making these.
Yeah.
And then, I'll just take this one. You can keep holding that one. I also have it where...
Ooh, a secret chamber.
Yeah, you can go in there. But now if you pull it out, hold it up. So I have
Wisdom would say
rose buzz and lavender buzz and bird seed, the food of flight.
Bird seed, the food of flight.
Yes. And you can smell.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, smell that. So when a person gets a wand from me, what they do to complete the ritual and also to be a co-creator of the wand is they will take 6 $1 bills and they will anoint it with their favorite oil and then infuse it with their life intentions, roll them up, put them in the tube.
Brilliant.
You see, and that really personalizes. So,
yeah.
That they
and
put
why
that,
the $6? What's the 6?
The number 6 is a number of balance. What is balance? BALANCE, be all and see.
Oh, God. You're the best. How do you do that? Be all and
this is
see.
revelation through transformation of pronunciation.
Oh,
and I have one day I'm going to finish the dictionary. I call it a dictionary of word revelation. So it's revelation through transformation of pronunciation.
Whoa.
And there's so many words that just offer, so
it's
much
the miraculary
insight. Like traditional, trade, I, shun, all.
Yeah.
And just on and on and on. Or familiar. When you're familiar, what? For me, you are.
Oh my God. I don't know how you do that. That's really good. So what does a person do with this?
Well, they can, when they place the stone on their first eye, or the antenna, there's a different feeling with each one. Also you can put it on the crown chakra. And then also, just moving it through the energy field. When you move it through the energy field, it's like wielding the spirit. And so you're clearing out your auric field, and all of the sacred intentionality that's been woven into the wand then becomes ignited and activated within your energy field in that way. and I put so much energy into these. When I make them, I sing and I chant into them, and I call forth the infusion of the moment that the whole universe was created to also be harmonically converged within it, like the feeling that God Goddess Absolute had upon the creation of the universe. Because see, we all have access code to all of the great mysteries because we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, or we like that holographic God presence, because the hologram carries the essence of the whole.
I love the holographic explanation of the humanness, whether it's the energy, the fingerprints, the vocal, the astrology, the numerology. It's all showing the
like
fullness.
The body, for example. So we could take one cell from within your body. It could be a cell from the eyebrow or a cell from the big toe, the belly button. And we could recreate your whole body.
Incredible.
That's cloning. That's how they do that. One little piece of DNA from anywhere within the body carries the entire genetic blueprint of the whole body. So likewise, your soul in the body of the universe carrying the entire celestial blueprint of the entire universe. If the blueprint for the universe was lost, it could be recreated through any one of us.
Wow. That is intense. Your music is amazing. I have had the opportunity to listen to it, and it has this resonance. It's just it's didgeridoo, it's vocal, and then sometimes you have some other instruments that you put along with it, and it's very meditative. How do people take your music and use it for optimal results?
Well, one of the things in the last 4 albums that I've done, I've also incorporated binaural beats in them. And even embedded spirit rap. Spirit rap is my most celebrated track, and many people will know what I'm talking about. Someone says, I invoke, decree, and dream awake the full cellular ascension of my, and it keeps on saying, I invoke and dream awake. Well, many people say that has literally saved their life. So I always, these days, embed that, subliminally in there. So you don't hear it on the surface, but it's in there. You feel it, along with the binaural beats. Binaural beats is like where we have one tone in one ear, slightly different tone in the other ear. The relationship between the two of them creates a baby, which is the binaural beat in the middle.
Right in the middle,
So if you had 300 hertz in the right ear, 295 in the left, then the difference between them is 5, and so that becomes a binaural beat, 5 hertz in the middle. You see, and so it's like taking two distinctly different tones, bringing them together in sonic copulation, and they make a baby. And that's the binaural beat.
Nice. I love it. So when people get your music,
so if they do headphones,
they can listen to it.
Headphones is going to take them the deepest, even though it's also very powerful just listening in general. And there's so much powerful intention, that has been woven into it. And so there's a lot of transformation available through the music. And I feel so much sacred pride around the creation of it. And I know that when I create, I am not only creating individually, I'm creating all-inclusively of the whole universe. See, I know that the universe co-creates within me everything that I create. I know that God Goddess Absolute co-creates within me everything that I bring forth. I am cellular co-creator of all that is created. God Goddess Absolute is cellular co-creator of all that I create. And all creations are created by virtue of universal accompaniment. Because whenever we create, when you work with your videography, the whole universe is working within you. It's that when you bring awareness to that, that it becomes bigger.
That's beautiful. As we are getting near the end, I want you to describe some of the accoutrements that you're wearing, the symbology of some of the rings. Tell me about the things around your wrists.
Okay, so these I have quartz crystal skulls. The
little skulls. Okay.
And for me, the skull is mansion of consciousness. Some people see skulls from a premise of death, like skulls and crossbones. And of course, that's one facet of seeing it. But, the skull is the house of the brain, or the mansion of consciousness, I like to say. So that's the context in which I am in relationship with the skull. These on the left, you specifically see the skulls looking this way because I receive energy through the left. On this hand, they're out that way because I project energy out through the right.
Brilliant.
And then amethyst, I'm Aquarius, so the amethyst is is like my resonance, is like my birthstone.
Astarius
in a way.
Aquarius, okay.
And so, it helps to facilitate crystals, Christ, all, facilitating the energy flow that moves through and passes out of the hands. Here I have moldavite, in
lift
this
that up
ring.
so that camera can see it.
Moldavite, here. And then this is Horus, in Egyptian mythology, the hawk-headed god, and over here I've got my 7 diamonds that was taken. I made this ring from 3 different rings that I had and had it all encompassed in one ring.
Oh, cool.
And then here, this is a wonderful smoky quartz, and I've never seen a cut like that. It's like a rainbow. This is really just an awesome cut. And then it has the Tibetan Dorji symbolized on the side in there. And here I have a lion's tooth, which is my my power animal, and that's azurite. And then this is aqua aura, which started out as clear quartz, and then there was a layer of pure. Well, first of all, the quartz was heated up very hot, and then there was a layer of pure gaseous gold infused on it, and the relationship between the gold and the clear quartz makes blue babies.
Wow!
Because it's the clear gold and the clear quartz and the gold coming together that made it turn blue and iridescent purple.
Oh, that's incredible. That's beautiful.
So gold and quartz make blue babies.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know where they come from. I love it. All right, Astarius.com, the website.
Astarius.com. And private line, if you want to give me a call, 928-254-9535. And I am here to empower you. I want to empower the whole universe because that's taking care of my own self by extension.
Yeah, and this is how you support yourself with your work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a practitioner of this. Yeah. Support people, support Astarius, support people that do their craft at bringing consciousness up. Buying music, buying books, buying some of their artwork, doing things that help bring consciousness forward. Support that. If you have never had your astrological chart done, contact this guy. He knows so much. Astarius is a master at astrology.
Thank you. I receive it.
Oh, so good. So as we round third and heading towards home, I like to give people kind of a thing that they can take away. What is that one thing you want people to know? And they're sitting here thinking, well, how can I be better because of this episode? Okay. What is that thing that you want to make sure people?
The one thing I want everyone to know is that you are your own version of the whole universe. The expansion of the universe is at the mercy of you really being you. For everyone to know that you absolutely make a difference in life, and to absolutely be committed to use all of the energy that moves through you in a good way, and to absolutely know that it is always the universe wielding the forces through you. And the universe that you are can't fail. And please be loving on yourself because you're the only one of you that you got. And the only prerequisite you need for loving yourself is that you live, move, and have your being. And that's how God loves you, with an infinite love by virtue of one fact, and that is that you are. So let your affirmation be, I am, therefore I love me. It's not I do, achieve, and create, therefore I love me, but I am, therefore I love me. And lastly, know that you are unfolding down the corridors of forever, so don't let time bully you. You may not get it all done in one lifetime. You may not get it all done in 10 lifetimes, but measure 1 or 10 alongside eternity comes up the same. And so you're unfolding down the corridors of forever, and in the course of foreverness, you're gonna get it all right.
You're gonna get it right. Oh, Astarius Miraculii. Dude, thank you so much.
I love you, brother. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me in your sacred space.
Oh, so good. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
I'm David Marsh, and you've been watching Exploring the Human Journey on YouTube as a video and listening as a podcast. If you would like to help continue the conversation, please consider supporting us by visiting patreon.com, where you can support us on a monthly basis and get extra bonus content. For as little as $1 a month, you can make this show sustainable and help continue spiritual consciousness. You can also help by following us on Facebook and Instagram. For more information about the show, find us online at exploringthehumanjourney.com.